This is the pre-stream. If you're catching this on YouTube and Twitch early, we're not quite ready yet, but we'll be ready in just a few minutes. So just hang with us. We're going to start right on time. This is just a little audio to make sure everything's working.
You want me to roll some music, Andrew?
I think that was enough.
Oh, okay.
I'm going to change my screen size and then we should be fairly ready.
Hello and welcome to Live Coding Happy Hour Special Edition for the Knowledge 21 Creator Con Hackathon. This is very exciting. We've got some stuff to build and stream, and oh man, this is like the tip of that knowledge iceberg. It is here, finally. Can you tell the excitement in the air? It's just, it's electric. And it's still 7 a.m. for me. Wait till we get started. See how we are at the karaoke party in a couple of weeks.
Oh, the excitement is infectious, Chuck.
With that, let's do our introductions. We'll do this in ABC order to keep it simple.
Well, hello, everybody. I'm Andrew Barnes, developer advocate here at ServiceNow. I've been developing on the platform for about 7 years and working at ServiceNow for 2.5 years. And I love developing on the platform, and I'm excited to join you today as the hackathon organizer, and super excited to see what people are going to build. Brad.
Thanks, Andrew. I don't know that I can match Chuck's level of excitement, but I'll try. My name's Brad Tilton. I am a developer advocate with a developer program here at ServiceNow. I've been developing on the platform since 2008. I'm really excited to see what everybody builds in the hackathon today. We always have some really impressive apps and things that I'd never even thought of doing on ServiceNow. So it's going to be great watching what everybody does, and hopefully being able to see some different live streams of what people are doing. And we'll be building something on a live stream as well. So it's going to be a fun day.
And my name is Chuck Tomasi, Senior Developer Advocate at ServiceNow. Been here for coming up on 11 years, was a customer for a couple before that, and lots of experience in the IT space in a bunch of different roles before that. And like Brad, I love, this is one of my favorite parts of the whole Knowledge Conference is the hackathon and seeing what everybody builds and the imagination and the innovation, really getting those moments where you go, wow, never would have thought of that, love the idea, and This is nose to the grindstone time. It's excitement.
Yeah, I mean, we are, 55 minutes from the start of the hackathon, and thank you for joining us wherever you might be in the world today. And we are just super excited. The teams, we've got something like 100 teams that are ready to compete and get going. Just by the time we end this stream, they should all be ready to go if they're awake. This stream is 24, or the hackathon is 24 hours. So hopefully that is fairly nice for all of the teams throughout the world to have the same amount of time and to participate in the hackathon. So we're going to do some building ourselves today. So during this hour period, I will be screen sharing and building, hilariously enough, a hackathon management app. So we currently have a hackathon management app that we're using to run this hackathon, but we are reimagining it with 2.0. And there will be lots more automation because we love automation. And let's see what we can get accomplished today to help facilitate that. Now, we are not competing in the hackathon, so we cheated just a little bit and have created a couple of tables that we knew we needed ahead of time. So we won't be starting from bare scratch, but we've put less than an hour into this app so far. We basically just created tables, unless one of my esteemed colleagues has information that I don't have. No, Chuck says it was less than an hour. He just created some tables.
If that, I mean, we made some notes and outline of saying we need a person table here and an event table there, and I went as far as I could before we got into those philosophical discussions of list or related list, those kinds of things. So we'll do our justice on this show and kind of be going, the solution's out there somewhere.
Awesome. Anything else that we need to share before we get going? Why don't I say during the stream, if you're participating in the hackathon is when your team leader will get the credentials for your instance. And as soon as you receive that email, you can start. So you don't have to wait until exactly the start time. Once you get your instance credentials, you can start creating users for your team and sharing those out, and y'all can start building as soon as you're ready.
I think our video audience is going to drop off a little bit at that point. We've got a great group here today. Love it.
So real quick before we get into it, Andrew, if somebody has a question about the hackathon during the stream, what's the best place for them to go and ask that question?
Excellent question, Brad. So if you're here in the stream, you can ask us. But throughout the hackathon window, reaching out through the community. So there is a community forum, especially for the hackathon. That's the best place to go ask your questions and get help from one of our gurus. There's also 5 different scheduled times for the gurus to be in a Zoom session to help you live on a Zoom. So you're welcome to drop in those as well and get help directly. But the community is the main first stop for you to get your fastest way to get help most of the time. Thank you for that question, Brad. And barring anything else, I'm going to start sharing my screen. Nope. Seeing no objections, let me
No
switch
objection.
over there.
I second the motion.
So here we are in our instance for building this hackathon app. I have got my hackathon app selected. And the first thing that I'm going to do today is go take a look in, if you haven't seen it yet, this is a Quebec instance and it's got App Engine Studio installed. So this is our latest innovation to helping reach out to a broader developer base, to folks that don't necessarily think of themselves as developers, so that they can build apps on the ServiceNow platform. So we're going to take a look at some of the data, so some of the tables that we have already created. So we've already got 9 tables built, and like I said, we haven't spent a lot of time building these tables because we built them right here in App Engine Studio with our table builder here, which really helps us accelerate that. And I just recently created the instance table. So the hackathon has a bunch of instances. So every team gets their own instance. And so we need a table to store those instances and be able to operate on them. And one of the things that we do for the teams to help them go faster is we preload some of the plugins that they might need to get going in the hackathon. And of course, I like to do that with automation. So let's make a new table to store our plugins. And if I could ask, Brad, do you think you could go and grab the plugin names from the flow that I've got in the existing instance? So there's a flow to install plugins. And if you could get those names for me, that'll help while I'm building the table.
This isn't just the v_plugin list, is it?
It is not, because I may want to install plugins that are not on this instance. So if I was limiting my search to just the plugins on this instance, that would potentially stop me from installing a plugin on one of these other instances that I don't actually have access to on this instance.
Ah, okay. I thought you had like super duper access to all plugins and just designate who gets what. Not the case.
It's not the way that I'm envisioning how to run it here. So we want this to be the plugin packages that we'd like. We don't need to make it extensible, I don't think. And why not make it auto number, even if I don't need it? I don't think we're going to need that many digits, though.
Andrew, question. Does 7 plugins sound right? And how do you want that list?
You can send it to me in Slack, or you can drop into this table once we create it. And
ooh, I'll do that.
And input them yourself.
I'll do that.
So I have got a stub of a table now, and now I'm in our table builder, and I'm going to add a couple of fields. So I'm going to hit add new field, and we want the name of the plugin, sneaky. And we'd like that to be a string type. And some of the plugin names get a little long, so I'm thinking something like 80. How's that sound?
Yeah, that sounds fair.
All right.
Is this the ID or the friendly name?
That the name might be the friendly name, and let's do the ID as its own string. So probably the friendly name could have been shorter than 80, but we'll keep them both 80. So we've got the name and ID, and I might want to roll them up into a package, which again is going to be a string. Nope. I want this to be, I don't know what I want with package yet. I'm going to come back and think on that.
What help me understand what the package is. What's that field representing?
So a colleague of mine did something similar to this, and they used like a package bundler to say, these are all the things that go with virtual agent and put them into a package. And I may or may not want that here.
I think you want.
So that's why it was on my brain.
You'd want a related list, right? Because a plugin could be in more than one package.
This feels like a reference, like some kind of dependency. This package depends on that other one, and I think you can get that out of the plugin information.
It's not necessarily a dependency. So you could want to install all the things for virtual agent and put them in a bundle, and they're not all dependent on, you can't just pick one and say install all these dependencies.
Gotcha.
So that was that bundling. I don't know if we need that here. So let's go on to event. Now, event is going to be a reference field. So this is referencing another table in our application. So this is this is gonna, wow, we actually got close. Hacker event. There we are.
Event is a terrible table name.
There are so many event tables.
And it can represent multiple things.
So let's leave package off for now until we know that we need it. Because we can always come back and edit this table and add more functionality as we run into it. So we don't have to have all of this figured out right up front. So let's make our name the display value, and I think we're ready to save. So with that, Brad should now be able to input those into our table.
What was the name of this table?
Apparently I called it plugin package.
Hacker. Oh, I guessed right.
Yay. So Brad's going to input us some data here. And then the next thing that I'm going to do is I want to be able to, from this instance, install these plugins on other instances. So how do I do that? You might have caught some of our continuous integration, continuous delivery sessions before, but if you haven't, let's go take a look in our docs and see if we can find some information on that. Look at that, first thing. So there is a spoke. So there's some APIs, and those are, great to use if you're outside of the ServiceNow and you're trying to reach into it from, say Azure or something to use the APIs directly. But we're inside ServiceNow, so we get to leverage some of the tools like spokes, and we're going to go take a look at what those are. But this is what we want to do, is we want to use this CI/CD spoke to activate a plugin. And we actually may even want to do a batch install of plugins. Ooh, that'll be fun. But let's start with activate a plugin. So back here in AES, I'm going to go to the top screen of my app. And well, this isn't data that we're trying to do, and it's not an experience, it's automation. So we would like to do some automation, and we look at these templates that are sent to us here, and are any of these jumping out at us as a thing that we're going to do? It's not jumping out at me. No, I don't.
It's definitely not any of that spreadsheet nonsense.
So we are going to build a new flow. So one of our tools is Flow Designer, and I'm a big fan of Flow Designer. And we are going to activate plugins. for Hackathon instances. What are the advanced options?
Run
Those
as system.
might actually want to run a system. That is a good call. Thank you, Chuck.
One of my
So-
common ones. I go there probably at least half the time.
So if it isn't clear yet, this is not a polished demo. We have not practiced this. We're building this live. So if you're in the chat and you have a suggestion on something that we should be doing differently, we are completely open to it because we're prepared. This is live coding. This is not just live demo. This is live coding. We are building this for real. So our flow is ready. So let's open it up. Give Flow Designer a second to load. Doing live coding without our beverages is interesting.
I have a beverage. It's herbal tea, but it's a beverage.
My coffee ran out. Sad.
Oh no, that is sad. So let's first take a look. Before I pick the trigger, I want to go take a look at what our options are. And so the spoke in the documentation told me that there are some subflows.
Nice.
So down here are subflows. So spokes are in Flow Designer are how we package together actions and subflows that is delivered to you as like starting points and activities for you to leverage. And we're going to put those in a flow together to deliver our business logic. So there's already some subflows in our continuous integration and our CI/CD. I'm not saying that whole thing. And one of those is activate plugin.
Right at the
So
top.
when we mouse over this and it says this needs plugin ID, instance URL, and a credential alias. And we'll output some status and errors and messages for me. That seems to be what I need right now. So let's get that.
It's almost like they built that for us.
It is almost like they built that for us. So I'm going to need some plugin IDs and instance URLs. Well, that seems to make sense to me. Where in our instance table, let's go take a look at our instance table and see if we have all the things that we need. So I'm going to take a look at, do we have, there's our ID. Do I have URL? I do. I have URL. Do I have credentials? Yes, I have credentials. What else did I need? URL, credentials, and plugin ID. So I'm going to need something from the dev instance table and something from the plugin package table. So that means we need to get some things from there. Now, how do we want to invoke this?
Yeah, that was my first question.
I think that we might, invoke this flow potentially from a UI action.
That
To say
that would be
prep
tricky,
the
'cause
instances.
normally, wouldn't you then create a subflow to call from a? Well, I guess you could call the flow from a
Mhm.
UI action. Yeah, you can do that. Not the way I commonly do it, but
So
the other option is we could create a record that says, "Here's what I want to activate," and when this trigger sees that record, that way we'd have a log of what requests were made and fulfilled and whatnot, and move those through a process as well.
yeah, and so that's a very good point. So do we want to monitor this process and see it, or do we hope it just all works? And I think that I want another table. So let's go do that. No, I did not want to click that button. I wanted this one, apparently. Thank you for prompting me, AES. So I want a new table from scratch. And actually, I don't want it from scratch. I want a task-based table.
I was going to say this feels more like a task.
So we want to extend this from task. So task is like one of the fundamental base tables in ServiceNow. So if you're doing something that has a state and potentially like an assigned to, task is where you want to be. So this is going to be instance operations. We want that to be
Wait. Take the plural off, please.
Oh, yes. Instance operation, and multiple of those is the plural. I agree. I don't like that prefix. Somebody give me a prefix.
IO.
IO.
Inst op.
Or IOP. Oh, too late.
We can change it later.
Nope.
No.
It's too late. We're committed.
You haven't created any records. There's no legacy data yet.
So as you can see, this is a much longer amounts of fields than I got when I started from scratch. I've got 4 pages of fields available to me here.
4 beautiful pages.
So what kinds of things do we need here? We need a target instance field. So do we have something that's close to that? Probably not. I think we're going to need to add that one.
Yep.
Instance operations seems like we want to have a reference to the instance table. And we want the what's the name of my table? Dev instances.
_SNC underscore.
Dev instances. There we are.
Oh, and you made that one plural too. We need a shame screen or something.
Oh, I did. Oh, sometimes I'm bad. It's okay.
I think I do that. I think I do that about once an app too. You've got all your tables are good, and then you've got this one table. I don't know what I was thinking. It's plural. I'm upset with it, but it's too late.
And we're not drinking yet.
So we've got instance operations table, and it's got a reference to instances. And so we need now a way to tell it, to figure out which of those plugins we want. And I think on the plugin table, we want a state, like an active and not active at minimum. Do we want it to be like a state field or just active, inactive? For plugins that we want to install.
We don't need any approval. What kind of states would you see them in? It would be what? Pending, running, complete, failed?
Yeah, but that belongs on the instance operations.
Oh, on the instance operations. I'm sorry. Yeah, I didn't see you switch to the plugin package.
I think we'll just go with an active field for now.
Yeah.
And
I guess
so this will be
pending, open, and retired, or pending, active, and retired are the only states that I could think of.
Anytime I create a table from scratch, I always include an active field, whether I need it or not. Don't forget your default value of true.
And if we need a state field, we can add that in.
Yep.
All right. So we can grab all the plugins that are active for a given instance and send that to our flow. I think we're ready to return to our flow now.
Phil's messing with you. He said, make an inactive field and set it to false. No, don't do that. Don't do that.
So on our created or updated, so now we'll be able to choose our instance operation table. IOPS. And we're going to want to filter that at some point. But, something like state, and we don't even have state choices yet that are good. But, something like open maybe. And then we're going to need, how do we want to denote that this operation is for installing plugins? So we're going to need the type of operation. Do we have a type field?
No. We have a contact type. I don't know if there's a type. Category.
Category could work.
Category is always a good
Category works.
substitute for type.
All right. Am I not seeing category?
Categories on instance or incident.
Oh yeah, it may not be on.
It might not be on task. Waiting for the chat to catch up and tell us.
Service offering.
We need a search. Where's the search on this thing?
So I don't see one jumping out at me. So let's make one. Do we want to just say operation type or just type? This is an operation table.
I think type. Yeah, keep it short.
Let's make that a choice list and give us some choices. Drop down without none. And we want install plugins. Change password. Wake up.
Store apps? Or is that part of plugins?
I'm gonna plugins in apps or in store apps are all the same, I think.
All right.
Lost Chuck. And that's good enough for now.
Yeah, what else were we doing with instances?
So type. All right, we're going to have to save in order to get type. Brad wants me to save my flow anyway.
It's true. Making me nervous.
I've switched tabs. Let's see if we can get type. Nope. All right, we're going to have to reload. That's fine. So let's return back to app home and open activate plugins. How is the chat going, Brad?
It's good. It's pretty active. I don't know. They all think I should push the button. Should I push the button now?
Ooh, really? Let's see. I'm okay with that.
All right.
Email's not instantaneous, so go ahead.
That's true.
So now I have an instance operation against an instance. So that should give me the details I need to send here, except for plugin IDs. So that means I need to go retrieve some information from our plugin table. So I'm going to need to do a record lookup for records.
Push the button. Chuck, give me a sound effect.
Ooh.
Oh man, I'm put on the spot.
We know that
you always
can
have
handle
them
it.
ready.
All right. Where is it? Where is it?
It's a highly tuned operation here.
Highly.
I didn't have my soundboard up, so I have to make use the quick ones
no
that
worries.
I got at hand. I got it.
Dun, da, da.
3 bells. Thanks, Brad.
All right. So everybody should get an email in the next few minutes, or the team captain
team
should
lead.
get an email and with credentials, and they'll log in and change it and then create accounts for everybody on the team.
Excellent. So I'm going to look up those plugins for the ones that are active, and then I'm going to loop through those. So we're going to go into flow logic, hit for each, and then we're going to grab our records, plural, records, data pill, and say, yes, give me those. And now I'm going to move this little guy right up into the under the for each for activate plugin. So now I should.
We have confirmation people are receiving the email already.
Excellent. Well, thank you for letting us know, folks. And happy hacking for those of you that are already ready to get started. And we're going to keep going. So this subflow for activate plugin, we need a couple of data bits to send it. So we're going to hit this little data pill picker and drill into our for each, and then into our record, and then go down to URL, into the instant, wrong table. I'm bad. It's from our trigger. Instance, URL. The plugin ID is from the for each, and then ID.
I think that's probably the most challenging, especially when you do a lookup record or you've got a dot walk to something, is figuring out where to start.
So for our connection and credential alias, I'm going to go to my trigger, to my instance operations, to my instance, and then to its credentials.
Aha.
So this is what we should need in order to do this. So let's hit done. And well, we're going to need to test this, aren't we?
Of course we do.
Of course we are. So let us create a entry in our dev instance table. So let's create a new record here. And this is
We'll fix that form layout later.
I have not been to this form layout, and I am clearly unpleased with it. So we will be working on that.
A very wide editable number is the first thing that sets me off.
Let's hit new. We're going to choose credential. We're going to hit submit. And it's good enough for now. Go. Now I need to open up this credential record and actually put a credential in here. Let's throw a basic auth in here. And then
It's not password.
of course it is. So what plugin would we like to install over here that we don't already have? So do we think that I don't have one of the ones from the list installed? Let's see.
Something that doesn't take an hour to install. Like,
Well, even if we just see it starting will be good enough, I think.
true.
Brad, what are the ones that we have in the list?
Filter on inactive.
We've got Integration Hub Enterprise. You've got VA, the mobile offline plugin, Agile 2.0.
I don't know if I have this one. Let's check.
PA Premium.
Did you set display values on some of those reference tables?
I don't know. I didn't see the mobile offline one in my list here at all. So let's just filter out, and we'll just add one in that is at the top of the list. Oh, let's see. Let's
Advanced
go
work
for Yeah, advanced work assignment will be great. This guy. So we'll create an entry for this in our plugin package table with this ID and advanced work assignment. Let's submit that. And so now let's go back to that table and set the other ones to inactive. Hey, did you already do that?
You did. You just created that.
No, I'm saying someone already set the
Oh.
other ones to inactive.
Uh,
That's
that was-
magical. So now we should be able to, in our instance operation table. So let's go to dev instances. I'm actually going to drop into the platform view and go to our dev instance table. What's this table's name?
I'm
me
thinking
this.
we may want to state, because didn't you say the act of creating a record triggers the flow?
We did put a state on the flow, I believe.
On the flow trigger table? On the operations table?
State
Oh, yep. Okay.
is open.
Yep, you're right. You're right.
Type is install plugins. So let's create the entry here.
I'm just wondering if somebody triggers a flow while another one is just started, we may not have that operation record in the, it might get picked up twice, is what I'm thinking.
So I'm going to add the instance operation related list to my view. Let's create a new one. Let's say we need type on this sucker.
Yes, because the default task form is oh so functional.
Let's put it right here for now. Type, install plugins, open, install my plugins. And we'll fix this up to be a little nicer in a second. But we actually have a record in that table now, so we should be able to go to our flow and give it a whirl.
Test.
So lookup plugin. So we only expect to get one because all the other ones are inactive. And then it should activate that plugin in our instance. So let's hit save one more time for the Brad. Let's hit test. We'll only have one record in here, and let's run it. So this is going to provide us the instance operation view of our flow. So in a second, it will give me a link to open up that operations view so that I can see how my flow is progressing. I probably should have told it to run in the background, but I'm bad.
I'm curious, does that record picker invoke the filter from your trigger?
So what you were asking, Chuck, is does this follow the filter that I have here? And the answer is no, it does not.
Okay.
So
It's
there
just
is no
that
filter
we only
on
have
this
that one
drop
record.
down.
Okay.
Yep. So we have our flow has started its execution. It said, oh, okay, that record. It looked up the records from the plugin table and it said, oh, okay, I've got one record from that table. And now I'm going to loop through those. There is only one, but we're still going to loop through them and execute this subflow to install this plugin. So we can even drill into the execution context for our subflow and see that the first thing it said was activate plugin, which is one of those actions provided from that spoke, which takes a bunch of the data that we sent this subflow and reaches out to that other instance and says, hey, start installing this plugin. And then we've got to check to see if it's already installed, then we exit this pretty quick. But if it isn't installed yet, then we drop into here and we start a wait until tracker completes. So if you're building spokes that need to interact with another system that has potentially long running operations that you want to check in periodically, this subflow is actually a good one to take as an example to build from. So this tracker reaches out to that other instance and checks periodically. So this is a subflow all in itself, and it reaches out to that endpoint and says, are you done yet? And then waits a while and then says, are you done yet? So we should be able to, over here, under plugins.
Gives it more of a TCP communication than a UDP. Nice.
Yeah, because potentially installing one of these plugins or interacting with another system that says, you're reaching out to another system and say, hey, generate this big report for me. And it might take that system 50 minutes to do that.
Yep.
Well, you're not going to hold open the connection with that other system for 50 minutes waiting for them to finish. Instead, you're going to say, initiate that. And then every minute or so, you'll reach back out or whatever the timeliness process for that interaction is and say, are you done yet?
How's it going?
So let's see if we can see, the plugin status is active and we've got logs coming in.
Ooh.
And so plugin is activated, upgraded successfully. So that should mean if we return to Flow Designer, we should be able to see that this thing is completed the next time it checks in.
Oh,
and
that's exciting.
Look at that. It is completed. So we have automated now reaching out to other ServiceNow instances to install plugins for us.
You made
and we
that
can
look
scale up or down the number of plugins and the number of instances that we do this against. So one of the things we did was we said, this flow that we built right here has a trigger for this instance operation. And one thing that I could potentially do is have a way to generate a bunch of these instance operation requests,
Yep.
right? So if I want to reset all of our instances, that might be something that I build a flow to do that. And in fact, I kind of want to. do we want to move on to the next step, or do we want to automate the creation of the instance operations, or do we want to do something like reset the password for the admin?
We need to finish this process because activating the record, we didn't update anything on the instance operation state.
Oh, that is a really good point.
Otherwise, you're gonna when you do your
That is an excellent point, Chuck. Thank you. So let us update that record as soon as we get some plugins. So let us update our record. And we're going to update our trigger record. So I'm going to drag that right over. And we're going to set the state here
progress
to work in progress. And we're going to say,
you want to comment?
we want to add a work note to let it know plugin installation is in progress for this many plugins.
Nice.
So we get that count of that lookup and update our record with that.
Do we want any error handling inside of that for each? Do we get any kind of output back from the?
We do get some error handling from these. So right here, you should be able to see that under Activate Plugin, let's collapse some of these. We get error and status messages from that subflow.
Nice.
So what we can do is we can update our record for every plugin if we'd like. So we can update our record again. Grab that from our data pill picker. We can add a new work note.
Do you want? Oh, you're just gonna log the error status message. I was
We
thinking
could add. We could add something like a check to see if there's a error here.
Yeah, we would need to know what
potentially.
those error codes were, though.
So we could say if there is an error at all.
If error not is, is not empty.
It's not.
Just leave it. It looks really goofy, but you leave it there and it'll work. Somebody just asked me that last week. Hey, I don't have all the conditions.
And then let us add a new action for update. And so we will grab our, nope, that's not high enough. Scroll to the top. Update our instance operation table. And we want to set the state probably to error. Closed incomplete. Seems good enough for now. And let's add us a work note.
Something to note for people who haven't used Flow Designer a whole lot is Andrew took the trigger record from the top. The best practice suggests that you should take the most recently updated record that you can. Obviously, if you're inside of a branch, down a deep tree, and you can't get to that record, you don't take that one because it's the most recently updated. But he had a choice of taking the trigger record or the one from step 2, which was also an update instance operation record. Think about what fields you're updating and what the state is, because you may want the most recent record, and the trigger record may not be that record.
That is a really good point if you're getting data from the record.
Right.
But if you're updating the record, it doesn't matter. But from a best practice standpoint, absolutely. So if you just get in the habit to always grabbing the most recent one, then you won't get surprised. But that is an excellent point. After I've updated this record in step 2, this is now stored and the values as they are from this data pill are actually different than the values as they are from this data pill.
It's not like a current dot something that you would expect in a script.
So plugin installation has errored for plugin, and we'll grab that plugin that from our for each. This one. And let's get the name from that. For each name. And the error with error and comment. Done. So that'll update in the case we get an error, and then we want to update it without an error. So let's drag this update record here, and we'll say plugin activated. And let's get that plugin name. Done. So that's some good error handling that we have there. So activate the plugin. We're going to get back either a success or failure from that. And based off of that, we will update our instance operation record appropriately. And then it will move on to the next plugin in the list. So hitting one of these errors doesn't invalidate the trying to install all of them. It will keep going and not stop. I could design it that way, but in this case, I think 7 out of 8 is better than failing on number 2 and only getting 1 out of 8.
Yep.
Closer is better. So that allows us to update our instance operation record. And in fact, let's see it work. So this should be relatively fast test. It will reach out to that other instance. It will find that it's already activated. And we'll and we might need to adjust how we're handling that because let's see what we get. So we'll run this in the foreground because we expect this to actually run fairly quickly.
Will you get an error if the plugin was already activated, or does it do a reinstall?
I don't believe you get an error message. You do get a status message, but you don't get an error message. If I recall appropriately. So we'll open up our flow execution. And if we go into that subflow, we'll notice that it will have said that it was already active, but we did not get an error on that installation.
Right.
And we could go take a look at the Activate plugin execution and see why.
I can't imagine trying to do what we just did in the last hour or so without Flow Designer and Integration Hub and the spokes. The scripting on this would take us all day.
Yes, and this is already put together, and so we can see that Activate plugin called the other system. It responded to say, "Hey, this is already active." And so when we checked to see if it was active, it said yes, and we wrote to a log and we assigned a status message, but we did not hit an error. And I think that's fine. I don't think I need to report up to my instance operation that it was already active. I just want it to be active. I don't actually care. So if we go take a look at our record, we should see that, we didn't set it complete, but we did write some work notes.
Not the state. I'm sorry. That's kind of the point I was making when we started this adventure.
We did. We got the error one, but we didn't. We need the formatter. Let's add that real quick. We want the formatter.
It's the little things that are so obvious.
It should be right about here.
Activities filtered. Or as we saw from the 2007, it says task activities.
Plugin installation is in progress for 1, and plugin activated advanced work assignment. So let us go add that one state, and then we will wrap up the show. So I'll return to my activate plugins. This data down here, we put in the work notes, but let us set the state to closed complete. Oh, wait, no, I can't do that here.
Why not?
Because this is too early. So what instead I have to do, which we don't have time for, we'll pick this up after we take a break, is I don't want to complete the operation because I'm in the middle of a for loop.
Right, you are.
For each of my records. And so the work note is appropriate, and then I'll need to, outside of the for each, do a close out the and that's going to be really good to look at, because we'll actually see in practice that we'll need to do a lookup for that instance operation record to see if it has been set to closed and complete. So that'll be fun logic to go look at when we do that. But for now, I'm going to hit save, and then we'll stop the screen share in a couple of seconds and wrap up. So we're going
Another
to keep
option,
streaming,
Andrew,
but
to that
we're
logic,
going to wrap this up. So let me stop the screen share right now.
another option to that logic would be to use a flow variable. And if you run into an issue, you can just say, hey, this
Ooh.
had at least one that failed. Then when you get to the end, you can say, did I have at least one failure? Now, that's assuming our flow variables work the way we expected them to, because they didn't in early access.
So we've got a number of people that did not receive the email. I don't know if we had some Gmail issues, but a lot of people didn't receive the instance email. So I put this in the chat. If you did not receive an instance, go ahead and post that in the community. And then Andrew, where are the guru hours posted?
They are, everyone got an email. All the participants got an email yesterday with those, but one of them is starting right now. So I will also go post it to the CreatorCon page where the FAQ is for the office hours there, and that will have the Zoom link, and I will go do that right now. So if you're having trouble getting to your instance, come join the Guru Hours or post into the community. And Brad and Chuck are going to continue streaming in YouTube and Twitch. We are closing out the knowledge broadcast right now and going to switch over to do that. And we're going to keep building this hackathon app. And I want to thank everyone for watching and following along. And so we'll say goodbye, but we'll be right back. So thanks, everybody.
Thanks. I had a dropout in the middle of that. I was not happy.
All right, I'm going to switch over to the other Zoom. Wave your hands at this Zoom. So I'll still be in there from the VM perspective. So wave your hands if you need something.
Okay.
So I'll start by saying, if you need help with something with the hackathon, you should post that in the community or join the Guru Hours, which are posted in the community and on the hackathon landing page. So this is just going to be a live stream of Chuck and I, and then we may be joined by some MVPs, and I think Andrew's going to come back at some point. And we're going to continue work on our hackathon app and keep building stuff. So there are also some other people streaming. I think there's a thread on the community that's going to list some of the links to other people's streams. If you want to go watch some other people and you're bored of the ABCs, I don't blame you. But we've got that on the community. And if you are on the SNDev Slack, there is a hackathon channel that has that stuff listed. So lots of places to go. But the community, that CreatorCon Hackathon 2021 community, is the best place to go if you're not sure. All right. Chuck, you got anything before we jump into doing stuff?
Tell us what we're going to build.
All right. So in the last hour, Andrew did some automation around this new version of the Hackathon Management App, where we automated installing plugins and instances, and built a little bit of the back end that was necessary to do that. I think we're going to jump into a little bit of UI builder and front end stuff here. And we've got a few different portals and workspaces that we're going to need to build for this Hackathon Management App. But the one that seems closest to what we're doing right now is the live event portal. So, right now with the hackathon, we're kind of handling things through the community, and we're doing these Zoom sessions. It'd be nice if you had just one place where you say, this is where I go. This is a portal that has all the information I need. It has a place for me to ask questions. It's got a place for me to look up what people are streaming. We can, have announcements on there. And then, I can maybe look up just past knowledge. So that's what we're going to do. We did have a question in the chat on where to get AES templates. So the AES templates should have gotten installed on the instance, but it didn't install on every instance. So if you post that in the hackathon community, somebody should be able to help you get those installed on the instance. So again, any hackathon questions, go ahead and post them to the hackathon community. The three of us are going to be doing development here, and probably will not be able to troubleshoot hackathon stuff during this live stream. All right. So with that, I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. Where did my Zoom window go? Oh, here it is.
Quickest way I found to get to the hackathon community was right at the top where it says knowledge. It says knowledge 2021 on that top menu bar. Take the second option that says CreatorCon Community, and then over on the left, you'll see a subforum for the hackathon, and everything you need is right there, including the official rules. 2 clicks, and you're there.
All right, so this is our instance that we were just in. Let's start in App Engine Studio, because that seemed fun. Oh, let's see if I have the app in App Engine Studio.
Oh, yeah, we had to do some doctoring for that, didn't we?
Yeah, so just a kind of a fun piece of info. With App Engine Studio, you can display any app that you want in App Engine Studio. There's some tables on the back end that connect basically a sys app record to what shows up in App Engine Studio. When you create an app in App Engine Studio, it creates a sys app record that you could also open in regular Studio. So it is possible to do some of that. If you have multiple people working on an app, you can have it show up for both of them. I believe that we are looking at, how to make that experience better to where people in App Engine Studio can invite other people to come work on their apps.
That was my next comment. Like, we should really have that as an onboard feature. But I know that it was everything we could do to get App Engine Studio out in the time we did. So some things had to be put on V2.
The nice thing about App Engine Studio is it's a store app. So you're not necessarily tied to releases on it.
Should have some updates coming soon, June-ish, if I remember right.
I thought we had more tables than this. Oh, okay. It only shows me the first three.
It kind of freaked me out until I looked at that data set 11 on the second tab there. Like, what? It's gonna be a short show.
All right, so one of my favorite things to do in App Engine Studio is to create an experience from App Engine Studio. So the experience we're talking about is basically a live event portal.
I'd say the experience section is green space for you right now. It's wide
right.
open.
So let's create a portal. Let's design our portal. So Hackathon, I don't think I can edit this, right? Yeah. I think
that's
I can,
odd.
I think I can.
What happens if you want your what happens if you want your workspace to be called Hackathon?
It's just so you can change the name and it'll change the URL.
Okay. So you could call this portal or hack portal or something.
Yeah, I think what I want to call it is now/hackathon/portal. I think I would want all of the. So I think.
I was wondering about that just the other day. Could you bury that deeper?
So right now it's going to be an underscore. I think we can change that because when you're creating, if you're doing this manually, you can bury that a little more. All right. So let's go ahead and continue. So it's creating an experience. I think it's creating us like 8 to 10 pages that are all like, it all works, which is cool. So we'll kind of click through those and see what we have. Question in the chat, a couple of questions in the chat. I'm not sure, Raphael, what your question means as far as ServiceNow Dev Program. That's the channel that we're currently streaming on here. The other question is virtual agent experience also available here? I think no, there's 4, yeah. So right now you can't access virtual agent through App Engine Studio. So again, this was V1 of App Engine Studio, and we're looking at what V1.1 and V2 and all those things look like, or I think there's already probably a lot of development going on to add things to it. So I can't tell you, when VA is going to get added, but I'm pretty sure we will add that at some point. All right, let's go ahead and edit, I think is how I want to launch UI Builder. So that is one way to launch UI Builder, is through here. I hate this. I don't hate this. Personally, I don't like that I'm losing all of these vertical pixels. So I'm going to open it via UI Builder so I get the whole screen out of it. But for your, low code users who you may not necessarily want to point at the left nav, that is a great way to get into App Engine Studio.
That is a fairly significant difference, isn't it?
Yeah, I wish you could minimize this because at least this part, like I could handle the tab interface, but it's the combo of the banner and the tabs.
It reminds me of when someone's doing a PowerPoint, but they don't put it into like present mode.
Yeah.
And you're looking at, it's inside a window, inside a window, inside a window. And by the time you get to see it, it's like, I can't read that.
And they've got the slides on the left real big.
Yeah. Don't be that person. When you're presenting, present.
All right. So let's look at, we get a number of pages created. It's more, what is that, 12, 11? I'm going to count them. It's 11. Yeah, so we get a lot of pages created for us by default. All of these pages are functional. So it's not like I just have a page that only has components in it and I have to hook them all up together. So this is like a functional portal right now. It's not necessarily tied to my data. I think if you spin up a workspace, you do get some things that are tied to your app's data. But for this one, if I open it up in the preview, I get this nice page like this. I thought I got some, are we still loading? I thought I got some cards down here. Maybe I don't know. Anyway, so we get this page with a search box, but one of the best things that we get is we have a theme already. Right. So we've got some, it already kind of looks nice. So for me, I'm not a designer. So when I have to start from scratch, my pages look very boring. So it's just nice that you get a little bit of a visual layout and some styling applied to it. And then you also have a whole theme record that you can play with, switch out the logo, things like that. Coincidentally, if you are interested in building an app, building a UI with UI Builder, we have a couple of UI Builder CreatorCon labs. One of them is CCL 1047, and that's Lisa Holenstein has one where you start with a workspace starter experience and configure it to work with an app that we built. And then I built one that's CCL 1088 that is a portal that you can use. Should I admit, Travis? Let's do it. That is a portal that from blogging app. And you start with a page like this and you turn it into a blog landing page, and then you take, then you create a new page and you do things with the theme and change out the logo and fonts and do all sorts of things. So
nice.
If you are interested in this UI Builder stuff that we do, that's a good lab to check out.
We have a guest.
Travis, welcome.
I think I'm on. Hey guys, how's it going?
Pretty good.
We are just getting into doing some portal work on our Hackathon app.
See the UI
Travis, you have
Builder
to do an obligatory introduction.
Yeah, tell us about yourself.
Oh, wow, going there. Hi everybody, I'm Travis Tilton. I've been a developer on the ServiceNow platform for about 10 years, I think, and specialize mostly in portal stuff. So glad to see the UI Builder up and running here.
Awesome.
He didn't want to come for any of that boring flow designer stuff.
All right, so what we want to do here is we want to make this portal we want to make this portal the landing page. I'm gonna have to minimize some things because I keep getting sidetracked by messages coming in. All right. So what we're looking for now is the active event portal. So I have started the hackathon. A lot of people watching are in this situation at the moment. You've started the hackathon, and you want to know where to get help, we're handling that mostly through a community forum at the moment. But we want to handle this through UI Builder or through a portal. So let's see. Well, I think the first thing is I do like this this hello message, personalize it. So
Yeah.
for now we can leave that. But we do have a special UI Builder thing in here where this, so this hello is just a hard-coded hello. But when we say Brad, this is not a hard-coded Brad. It is a session property that holds some information about me, and we have bound that session property to this this heading components label property. So each of these inputs are component properties. And so I can bind data to any property, so it doesn't have to be like a string field. Like I could bind true false data to one of these toggles. So it's powerful in that everything can be dynamic if you want it to be. So which is nice. So hello, Brad. Let's say something about welcome to the Hackathon event portal. Nice. I think we probably want a search bar. Yeah, I think we can leave the search bar, right? So how, like, what do people need during a hackathon? They need to ask a question, probably. They need, maybe
activate a plugin.
Yeah, maybe eventually we hook up something to the automation that we have built. So I think at the beginning, maybe they ask a question, and then on the back end, a guru automates a plugin. Yeah. So I think some knowledge. I'm trying to think of what.
Report a problem, a simple incident.
Yeah. Like how.
If you think about what most portals do is, in the self-help is request something, report a problem, or look up some knowledge.
Yeah. Should have thought about architecting this a little more before we did this stream. But let's go ahead and do something. So I've got this container and this hero. Oh, that's right. So we have we've got this other row down here, and we have some stuff hidden. So how do I unhide you? How about this? Edit component visibility. There we go. Okay, so looks like this component visibility is depending on whether we have data for this. And I think all of these are showing knowledge articles. And I wonder if we don't have any knowledge in this instance.
Wouldn't surprise me. You're the one who spun it up. Did you say load any demo data?
I'm pretty sure I said load demo data, but
I thought our user table was a little sparse
with me. Ouch. So let's do this. Let's go. Let's create at least let's create a knowledge base for the hackathon.
I like it.
All right, hackathon. It has to have an owner. It's a user.
You.
All right. Me, all of this looks fine. Submit. I haven't actually done like a knowledge implementation in a while, so somebody's probably like, hey, you missed something, and it's not going to work at all. But,
it's changed significantly since I was in here
yeah.
too.
So I think we need a category probably, right? I think I can create this from the knowledge record. So let's create a new article. And I'm going to, oh, I had it there, right?
You gonna go get the rules?
Yeah, I'm gonna grab the rules and we'll put that up.
2 clicks, man. Knowledge 21 right at the top.
Where is it? Oh, there we go.
Second option. Over on the right. It's in the forum. Right there. 2 clicks. Rules are right at
Look
the
at all
top.
these questions
Featured
getting answered.
content.
Yeah,
Featured
I'm
content.
just looking at all these questions that are answered now.
Don't do it. Don't get sucked
active.
into the
I'm
community
not going
It's like Facebook sometimes. Holy smokes, 2 hours just went by.
The sweet points. Yeah. All right. So let's grab that and just dump it in here. All right. So let's say ClearCon Hackathon 2021 rules. And then we're going to put this in the Hackathon knowledge base. And we've got my category picker. So
Rules? I don't know.
yeah.
What kind of categories would you want in your hackathon?
I don't know. So part of it is we probably have some knowledge articles that are universal to all hackathons. We probably have some that are specific to a single hackathon. Like this CreatorCon hackathon has some special rules because it's global and it's virtual, and we're giving out prizes.
You could categorize by year too. I mean, your category may be 2021.
Because I would want some that are global, right? That are just always there.
Right.
And I don't want to copy those every year.
Great. Call it global. Oh, I see Andrew popped up. How are the gurus?
Let's go.
I have no idea how this category picker works.
I remember when they put this in and I was like, this is great. Can we do this on other reference fields? It's like, no, it's very hard coded. So 2021 CreatorCon. I don't know. Let's just do that. Submit. All right. And then let's go back to UI Builder.
Do we need to publish it or anything?
Probably.
It was still in kind of a drafty draft.
Yeah, you're right. All right. That looks published.
My brain just made the weirdest association. I watched Princess Bride the other night. So when I read the word knowledge, it came out as knowledge. Had to go there.
Hey, there we go. Now my my data row showed up because I have data there. So updated articles. So
Look at y'all working in UI Builder.
That's right.
Thanks for joining, Travis.
Yeah, thanks for the invite there, Andrew. How's it going?
Awesome. Teams are building stuff. And
Woo,
I'm
we got
gonna
the
go
updated article.
I'm gonna go work on my flow that we were building in the first hour some while Brad is working on this UI.
Oh, is that how hackathons work? Is that part of the rules, or do you have to work in serial?
No, I didn't have breakfast. So if I click on this, let's see. Hey,
Woo!
I didn't even have to do anything and it works. So
Yeah,
this is,
that little component is working and connected and works. That's pretty slick.
That's
this is
cool.
nice. What happens if I hit home? We go back to the landing page. Ooh, one of the things we wanted to do is say,
Oh, that's
change
right.
this. Let's see.
Can you do it here?
I think you go here.
Open page definition?
Ooh,
I would
you
have
know
guessed
what?
second from the last one.
It's experience settings, I think.
There it is. Path.
Ooh, let's see if we can change it here. Oh, I didn't save. Did it actually change here? No, I don't know.
Didn't change there. You got to do a reload? It changed there.
Yeah, let's do a reload.
And
Oh, looks like.
it looks like. Okay, that's
There
slick
we
for
go.
organizing
That's
stuff, multiple portals and workspaces within the same app. I'm sold.
Yeah, because we'll want everything to be under Hackathon, and then
Yeah.
we'll have. So this is really an event portal. I think I'm going to change it one more time.
You could call your workspace, workspace or admin
Yeah.
or user, whatever. Yeah, that's nice.
So
is there any limit to how far you can nest that down, or?
I don't know, I don't know. Seems like a thing that is discoverable, though, if somebody has some time. Let's keep adding.
It's a hackathon. We're in a hurry. We don't have time to experiment with that.
All right, so we have that. Let's see. So I always end up with a crazy amount of previews open.
I do too, for whatever reason. I was looking at it here, and it opened
There
it
you
for
go.
me there, and I don't even know which one's right anymore.
So we have the article, flag article. Does this work? Copy link. Does it paste the? It's the backend link. All right. I was hoping it was going to give me the UI builder link. And then does rating work? And then if we post a comment, here is a comment.
If only we had a slug instead of a sysid, that would be a pretty URL.
Hey, there we go. That's a good comment. Let's like it. All right. So this is actually what a lot of what we want from this portal is just giving out information. So there are some things that we will want to do. We'll want to change the links. We'll want to change out the logo. We'll want to make sure this search box works. I kind of like this report issue button. I think we'll want to rename it to something else.
What does it do?
It won't tell me. What is this? Catalog.
It does that.
The catalog item probably doesn't exist, right? This is the message you get if
demo
it doesn't
data's
exist.
missing. You think it brings up a record producer?
I don't know. Let's see.
It's up to you if you want to explore that or you want to build something new. Create new enhancement. Wow, that's a brute force way looking for it. Okay, whatever it is, it doesn't exist.
Yeah, that's probably it. We can check another instance, see if it's in there at some point. Is that on the... So it's on the landing page also. So I think we'll want like this top section. I think I wanted to say something like, right? Because this is, I'm pretty zoomed in here.
I'm curious, how do you get someone to the right event? I mean, you've got a portal for the hackathon. Don't we want to make like a generic front end portal?
Per event. I think you're right.
Yeah, you don't want to make one of these every time you make an event. We got to make something that's a little more generic that says, hey, welcome to, it may not even say welcome, it could say welcome to the Hackathon event portal, pick your event, or you are registered for this event, or here's sign up.
Ooh, that is good. I think the way it currently works in Hack Now is that it does list multiple events, and you click into the one you want. So we probably do want this to be per event because we want to be able to run more than one at the same time. That's probably part of it. So good point. Let's see. So I think we leave the landing page as the page that lists active events, and then we'll have an event page. I like it. Okay. So for this, we'll just want to show active hackathons that the person who's logged in, I don't know, do we want them to choose, or we would already know that they're associated with an active hackathon? So maybe we just send them to the
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
active one. All right. I'm wondering if we want to just create a new landing page. The problem with this landing page that gets created is there is a lot going on it already. So I think we're going to create our own event page here instead of doing something to the landing page.
Okay.
Let's create a page. Ooh, do we want to start from a page template? I think probably not. So let's call this, did we call the last one event portal? So I'm gonna, let's, oh yeah, it's called event portal. All right, we'll just call it event, because it's great to name things event, as we have established.
Oh yeah, no, we already had that discussion.
So
whatever you do, people, don't name your, what was it? Don't name your field event. Call it u_event if you possibly can, even in a scoped app, because the moment you try to inject that like into a mail notification, it's going to say $curly brace event dot something, and you're going to think you're going to get a field, and you're going to get the event data. It just like, will mess you up. It took me like 2 days to figure that out. It was my wife that said, "Is that a reserved word?" And she's not a ServiceNow developer, but she knows enough about computer science to figure it out. I went, "Oh, for God's sake, yes." So not only was it, tricky, it was embarrassing at the same time, and that's not what you want.
that is a great little tidbit, Chuck. I don't think I had realized that.
When naming fields, stay away from reserved words. Don't name your field current. It seems obvious, but when you hit it, it's a problem.
All right. So what we're going to do is we're going to give this page an optional parameter for the event ID. So if I pass it an event ID, it shows me that event, but I don't want to make it required because I want to be able to just send somebody to the event page and then have the page figure out which event they're in. Oh, do I want to do that? Maybe we should just do that no matter what. All right.
I think that was for a demo that I did at case 17 that I figured that out. Fortunately, we figured it out before we got there. Why isn't this thing working?
All right, and just to give an update to the people in the chat, this is again just the advocates and some of the developer MVPs. We are building an app during the hackathon, but there is no hackathon support on this stream. Please go to the hackathon community page if you need some help for something.
Yeah, or office hours. Linda just put in a comment that said gurus are doing office hours and team leaders have been given the link.
Yep.
So Travis, you're not doing a hackathon this year?
No, not doing one this year. Talked about it, but just didn't quite get into it. Kids and,
Oh yeah, that'll do it every time. FYI, we do have a Breakpoint podcast coming out with Travis's wife, Sarah, on Wednesday, so the 12th. Watch your podcast Catching Clients or website or our blog for that.
It's a really good one. You don't want to miss it. And I'm not biased in any way, shape, or form on that.
Oh, did she let you listen to the preview?
She did.
Sneak peek, family privilege.
All right, so I kind of want to do something similar to the landing page. So let's go back and see how they made that image show up. It is here. Yeah, that's it. So let's just steal the CSS. Height 22. Okay, that's all specified in the CSS. So let's go back to our event page. And do this. Hey, there we go. My container. Yeah. So how did they put something on the left here? This is save and continue. Thanks, UI Builder. How could I not have saved something? Hero banner, main. Ooh, we just have a margin top here. Let's do that. So let's go back.
I don't think I've ever used that star directive.
In the components, that is what you use. You can't actually target things in the component.
Ah, okay. Because I'm looking at it. Doesn't the format have a colon in there somewhere?
All right. So we've got this now. Let's do. All right, so let's save and let's get some data before we put something in there. So
this is the part that I'm still kind of rusty on.
Let's grab a data resource. So we want info about the event that is currently happening. So let's look at our data model real quick.
Did we? Yeah, I was going to say, did we make some records for the event and whatnot?
Yeah, I don't think we have any records, but we have, so event participant is going to have the user.
I thought that was a many-to-many.
Well, let's see.
Yeah.
Also, when you create a table through App Engine Studio, you do not automatically get an app menu in the platform view. And that's
correct.
Because generally when you're creating an app through App Engine Studio, you're going to have a portal experience and a workspace experience, and you may not necessarily have the platform backend, I'm making air quotes, but you can't see me, view of that. So if you need to get to the table real easily, you can just hit the preview button and it'll open up that list. So Chuck is registered for
apparently I did make it
on the winning team. Wow.
Yeah. Again, developer can't think of good data names.
I mean, I guess being one of the judges, you can maybe make yourself on the winning team. All right, so event participant looks like a good starting record that's going to have links to my event and then the user. So I think we're gonna have to do a series of data lookups, I believe, but we're gonna start with that one.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm gonna go global, and we want, I think, a lookup records. Ooh, lookup properties. That may be new. Or new to me. Oh,
Stay on
so
target.
there's this this thing that happens with data resources where you're like, all right, cool. And then you click out of it. What you have to do is scroll down and then hit add. I think we did one of these with Chris Johnson, who's one of the designers on UI Builder. And I mentioned that and he said, noted. So hopefully that's a thing that
something went wrong.
So I really don't like this message. It's just it's not getting anything yet because we haven't configured it yet. But we will get there. So once we give it a table, this message will go away. And our table was event participant.
Travis, you got a question on YouTube from Jace. He says, what sessions are you looking forward to this week?
I'm really interested in the full stack app development adventures ones.
All right.
And couple of the UI experience framework, obviously. Gotta love those portals.
I think the full stack one we did previously, but it's been updated for this year.
So we get to do something fun here. So this condition builder, we want it to be dynamic because I want to grab. We only have one piece of data in that row, but I want to grab I want to grab the piece of data that's associated with my user record, not all of them. And so this needs to be dynamic. Or we could do, can we do isme? Person. Yes.
Oh, what?
No.
Fail.
Oh, is the person record not a user record?
It is not a user record. We could go define a new dynamic filter.
Does it link to a user record somewhere?
Nope.
Oh yeah, there it is.
Oh, it is linked to sysuser.
Yeah.
Okay.
Otherwise, we can't figure out when somebody's logged in what
right. So you're thinking dot walk to there.
Yeah, can we dot walk? Let's see.
Person.user is dynamic me.
We can, of course we can dot walk. There's an error. There we go. And then let's make an assumption here that that I can only be registered for one hackathon at a time. Like I can't be hacking in 2 different hackathons at the same time. So that's we can make this rule for all future hackathons because I'm lazy and don't want to have to do this differently. It seems like a good thing to do.
I love writing requirements like that.
All right, I don't have a. Let's create a record for me just so. Nope. Let's go back to App Engine Studio. I think I'm going to need a person record, but event participants. So there's probably only one event. I think we'll need to create a new user. All right. And then let's create a new team.
We don't know what states are on a team yet.
All right. So now if I save, so sometimes you get a message in UI Builder saying, but I think you have to actually update the data resource. But sometimes you get a message in UI Builder saying, hey, the data was updated. Do you want to update it in UI Builder? So that you don't have to refresh, but I think, actually, yeah, there we go. So there I am.
How do you know that? Wait, you said there I am. Oh, because it got a
Yeah, it was
the condition.
blank. Yeah.
Right, the condition worked.
Yeah.
Like
No,
those display values kind of suck.
I just have this thing where I remember sysids. No.
I can remember the last 4 and go, yep, that's me.
So let's add some return fields here. I do really love in data resources that when you change something over here, it reloads the data for you on the right.
Nice.
And you see the JSON that you're going to get back, and you don't have to like do a whole bunch of things and then be like, pretty sure I messed something up, and then you find out later on that you did something wrong at the beginning. So I really like this. So
yeah, that can be a challenge in Service Portal.
All right. So I think we want the event from this, because this will be how we show that event data.
So I'm going to paraphrase a question from the chat. Is why would we create a landing page using UI Builder versus just doing HTML, CSS, and JavaScript?
That is a good question. I don't think there's anywhere where you can just use HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. I mean, I guess Service Portal, you still have to kind of know how to use Service Portal to do those things. So the different ways you can do some sort of custom UI in ServiceNow are Service Portal, UI pages and UI macros. But if you use those, you have to know at least a little bit of Jelly. You can do a lot of things without having to know a lot of Jelly, but you have to know at least a little bit of the syntax and how it works. And there's all sorts of little things you get to run into when you do that, all sorts of things. But UI Builder, we're going to do a whole lot of stuff in UI Builder and not write any code. And so part of that is you don't necessarily have to know JavaScript or even HTML that much. CSS helps a little bit, but this is also one of those things where you can build something out and then turn it over to a designer and have them make it look nicer. And not only is it you don't have to know code, it's also there's less room for coding errors. Anytime you do something that's low code, that's one of the advantages is that you don't have a random character in your JavaScript or HTML, and then other people can come in and work with this, and they don't have to know those things either. It also, we haven't used a lot of the, there's page templates where I can just spin up a new page real easy. So yeah, that's one of the big reasons. There's probably, we probably have people that can give a much more concise and better answer to that.
Jace distilled that down to 2 words: click development.
There you go.
Thanks, Jace. No, that's true. The speed of development is much faster with something like this. Obviously, there's a bit of a learning curve, but as there is with any other language, but it makes it less brittle too. It's like you said, if somebody has to come in and maintain this, my God, they'd have to, if you were in Service Portal, they'd have to unwind several things, especially if you start getting into directives and libraries of custom widgets. This is a lot easier to decipher and control.
All right, so max results. We only want 1, and let's sort by. There should only be 1, but we'll sort by the updated date, descending.
I look at this very similar to, Flow Designer as to script includes.
Good
Right.
point, Chuck.
So Andrew's back. Was that the first time you said something?
Yep, he's back.
For a while. I said something a bit ago, but yeah, I'm back.
All right.
Tell you, laughing and having a good time over there.
So
Someone's got
I
you.
dropped in. I dropped in on some of the other Twitches and YouTubes,
Oh, nice.
and helping teams on the community get going. And I said I was going to start working on my flow, but I'm just now getting there. So if you saw our first hour where I was working on activating a plugin, and I am taking Chuck's suggestion to use a flow variable to help store the data from my for each. So thanks for that, Chuck.
I want to know.
I haven't
if
used
that,
it very much yet.
Yeah, if we can set that flow variable and change the value inside of that for each, and then be able to come back and get it, because that was the issue before. You couldn't do like count up how many of these I've got. It would just kind of die. It wouldn't retain the value properly when you came out of that loop. So that's my first curiosity: is do we have that fixed?
I will let you know shortly.
So you can rename these data resources, or as you'll see in the platform, data brokers is what we used to call them, which is a good idea if you think you're going to have a good amount of them on the page, to make them more specific. So you don't have to remember lookup records 4 was when I did this other thing. So we're going to do that. So what we're going to do here is we are going to look up the event record. And then the record we want is actually going to be the record that's returned from that other data resource. So data results dot, there's only one result, dot event dot value.
That'll get you the sys-ID.
And that'll get us the sys-ID. So we should, if I click out of this, we should get, maybe, please.
I would love to see that more in a pill picker format.
Yeah. So name, do I get something now? I wonder if I can do this. So data fetch succeeded. Maybe it's not calling it or something. Well, I'm not going to see that in UI Builder. So let's wait and see what we get here.
Okay.
Oh, I need to go back here immediately.
That didn't look like it showed an array though. You had a dot results.0. Go back to the lookup participant record output.
This one?
No, over on the left. Click your data resource. Oh, it is a okay.
It is an array.
Yep. Okay, it is an array. I saw that as a curly brace.
This maybe should have been so this is a lookup records. It maybe should have been a lookup record, like the one I'm using to look up the event record. And I wonder if I need to, so I can invoke this immediately, or I can say only when invoked. And I wonder if I should say look up the participant record, and then when that succeeds,
oh,
then I want
have one trigger the other.
Look up the other one, which maybe is refresh instead of invoke. I don't know. So let's here. Let's just test this out and see. So it should give us a name, and then let's find that Let's add a component here. Let's say stylized text component. And we will just give it data dot lookup record. I think items maybe what we want. Nope.
Does the return field is name? Would it be
Yeah, it's not giving us
value? I don't know.
It's the field.
How's that represented in your
event? So this one, event.value. This one.
Just so I'm getting this in my head and can wrap my brain around it. We're effectively doing like a nested glide record lookup, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. So I'm just going to do that and we'll see. What happens if I test that? Hey, it did work. Why did we not see it here? I guess because maybe it didn't know the
that makes it hard to debug.
You know
it
what?
worked, sort of, but we don't know why.
Let's do this. So I'm going to create a client state parameter, which is a page property, and then we're going to say event ID.
Just kind of like a temporary variable.
Yeah, it's like the page's scratch pad.
Okay.
All right. 8. Nope. No.
That's not an ID.
There we go.
What did you change?
It had so I've found in, for some reason, it treats things like
an array.
Like an array. And so I guess, is that giving us the first value? It's the first character, right? Yeah.
What?
I don't know.
Okay,
right.
Well, that one I'm not even going to try and comprehend.
So
because it's not represented as an array in the data that gets spit back.
Instead of binding it to the data resource, we're going to bind it to
that variable thing you just made.
State event ID. Hey, and that worked. And
okay, I like that.
Lookup event record. And we could also, we could build our own GraphQL query, I believe, and get like all of this data back in one query instead of doing multiples.
Yeah.
But maybe that's like a performance improvement later on.
V2 or 3 or 7.
I also like how I wasn't consistent in capitalizing these. So let's.
Now you're reminding me of Matt Gady.
I remember Matt. All right, so let's get some more fields from there. So registration start, app due date seems like a good field. Actually, this is the live event portal, so I don't think we need to know when registration starts.
Let me know when I can break in.
What do you want to do?
Get help with flow variables.
Oh, yeah. Hold on. Let me finish
I'm
providing
holding.
info.
You're assuming there's a flow variable resource here.
All right. What else do we have in that table? So the event table. We got the name, registration start and end, the state of the event. Ooh, event active, I think, is what we want instead of the active field.
I think that was when it was running. So you might be right. It's gonna be, is it in progress? Is it in pre-registration? I don't know. I think active might still be effective.
Yeah,
That
but
might
like
be a
if
little
it's it could you could be participating in a hackathon and be registered for another hackathon. I think that they're both like the state is active, but
yeah, okay.
oh, look at these beautiful spaces. All right. Oh no, it's a picker, so I don't need this. So I probably want the end time. I think that's probably good for now. App due date and end are probably the same thing, but
Travis had to jump.
all right. So CreatorCon 21 Hackathon is the name of the event. Let's add something to the end of this. Or I guess let's add it below. So I'm all over the place though. First, I want to edit these conditions and say event dot state is event active.
Did we have any? I don't think we had any data.
Oh yeah, I didn't change the.
I can't tell you how many lost hours there were on trying to debug code only to find out it was the stupid demo data.
All right, haven't saved in a while, so there we go. It's back.
Like, why isn't this code working? You don't have a case for that. Oh!
So we've got the stylized text. Let's add another one. And this one, I want to make it like an H4.
Ooh.
Oh, no. We're going to do something a little fancier. I want to add another content. No.
I invite people to go into UI Builder, even if you don't feel comfortable with a lot of this stuff, is just start looking around, add a component here and put something in it, like a data visualization is a good beginner exercise. And you'll get comfortable with where these menu options are, what the options are for each component. And then, because as I look at this, it's an incremental from what I did just by playing around. Otherwise, if you try to think about this all in one big lump sum, it can be a bit overwhelming.
Yeah, so here we're going to add a text component that just says end time. And then let's make it like a H4. Sure. And then since I want the next one to come after, I'm going to come into this main slot. And right now it's a column and I'm going to change the flex direction to row. And you'll notice if I come back here, the plus sign are no longer on the top and the bottom, they're on the right and the left. So when I add a component after, it's going to go to the right.
Do you know how much time I waste doing stuff like this in Service Portal and CSS? This is genius right here.
There are some areas that are still a little complex, or much complex in some place, but the power of what you can do here without having to do a whole bunch of hacking is really nice.
I swear I got to go to Stack Overflow every time I want to put two buttons next to each other.
So we want, I think end may be a better dot display value. There we go. Yeah.
That's a great date format for end users.
So the other thing I want to do here is
you might want some padding in there.
Let's just do a margin right. Say 10 pixels. Let's test that guy.
That's better.
There we go. I don't like, why is this? Oh, you know what? I need to give, let's give this main container some padding.
Oh yeah, that is kind of jammed up against the side.
Is that too many?
No, it's kind of dark on dark though. Do you want to change the color of the font inside the?
Yeah, let's see what it looks like rendered.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
Yeah, because it's all the way over here. That's
Yep.
better. What's the padding? Let's just match that with this. Where do we get padding? So what is that? 56. And is it in pixels?
Oh, you want to align it there?
Oh, it's got a max width. I don't know. Let's just try 56 pixels.
All right, I've heard of EMs, but what are REMs? What unit is that?
I don't know off the top of my head. I believe it is similar. Oh, there we go. Viewport. What if we click on the reference? EM.
What's the difference between EN and a REM?
We'll have to figure that out while.
Yeah, I can go look that up. I've never seen that before.
That looks more better. But...
More better.
All right, so we've
REM,
done some.
REM is Google says REM is relative to the HTML root font size.
Okay.
Oh.
So I would wonder what the difference between REM and EM.
An EM is relative to the nearest parent.
Oh, that makes sense.
That makes total sense because I have totally screwed up service portal widgets that way.
All right, so we have a portal now.
Yay!
We did
So
some
you look at
dynamic
Andrew's
things
flow variables
in the portal, so I guess I will stop sharing. Andrew, are you ready to?
have a portal. We can do some knowledge.
Sure.
You want to just take it from me?
Yeah, I'll take the ball. So if you're picking back up with us, thank you for joining us. I am working on some instance automation management in Flow Designer, and Chuck gave me a great idea. So we have a loop operation, and inside this operation, we need to keep track of the number of plugins that might have aired out and if we've aired out at all. And so I tried to create some flow variables, and it doesn't let me change them away from string for some reason. Because it hates me.
And what I believe I found in my experimentation is it doesn't matter because it's like JavaScript doesn't care, and neither do we. You can still do comparisons with an if at the end, and it will know.
And so I wanted to see if there was just some error with me or my flow. So I created a new one and with nothing in it, and it is happy switching them to different variable types when I don't have anything in my flow. So if I know what I need ahead of time, apparently I can choose. Well, anyway, so I'm going to, the reason that I'm not actually sad to rebuild this is because if you take a look at this operation, what you'll see here is depending on the number of plugins I need to activate, this is going to take a long time.
Yes.
And it will require a bunch of calls. And we don't need quite that many calls because we actually have over here in the docs, if we go to our documentation, we do have an install multiple things.
Nice.
So in this spoke, there is a batch plan that you can call. So down here, batch install is
that's new.
It is new with Quebec. So this is a new API and associated spoke for batch install. And so you can pass it multiple plugins or applications or what do we call the customizations to store apps? We have a different name for that.
App customization. Terrible name, but.
So you can bundle all of those together and tell the instance all at once, hey, go do this. And then you can just do your checks to see if it's done. So I'm going to switch instead of doing this single activate plugin inside a loop. Instead, I'm going to use a loop to create my package.
Yep. And
then send that all along, all in one bundle. And I think that will allow me to, one, simplify how I handle the responses and only require me to do one activate plugin call roughly to the other instance. And then all of the rest of them will be just checking on the result.
If I remember right, the batch install kind of fires off an async job and you have to use the batch results periodically to check where you are.
So does the activate plugin.
Right. But doesn't that one do it implicitly in the background? It's the check is part of activate plugin, but I think you have to use batch results explicitly.
So I think what you're saying is this subflow is provided for me and there's not an equivalent subflow for batch. Is that what you were trying to say?
Let's go through it and find out. I want to, because there's a separate flow and API for batch results.
Yes. And there's the same. So in here, you'll see this wait for tracker is calling the get the results from the API from the other instance to say, get the results of this activation.
Does batch install have a corresponding batch results built into it like activate plugin does?
So get execution tracker progress is the action that's calling that API. Okay. And I'll need a similar setup for the batch one.
Let's go.
So given a progress ID, an instance, and a cred, call the CI/CD progress API. And I'll need this will be the same call for batch or plugin or any of them actually. So they all use the same progress.
Andrew, go back to your docs page right under batch install. Was batch results. And I think batch install returns that sysid that batch results then goes and checks. I think we can make use of this. So my question is, do we have to call this explicitly or is it built into the batch install to just sit there and wait? Does batch install do this synchronously or asynchronously is really my question.
The batch install is definitely asynchronously, and so is the activate plugin.
Was it?
Yes. That's why we're calling this check progress. So we're periodically calling this check progress to check the status.
That's what you were saying is you don't want to hold that connection open for so long, what you said earlier.
Correct. Okay. And so I have not looked to see if there is a equivalent subflow for getting the batch progress.
Yep.
Batch results. There is one.
Yep.
Excellent. So I'll call the batch install. That will return me the inputs I need, the result ID that I can then pass into the batch results.
Yep.
So I should be able to stitch this together the way I want here now.
I'm still not. Do it. Those flow variables, that's very unsportsmanlike to not let you add what you want later.
And I'll check into that some more because, it clearly is something that should work. That's just not. It's just not working quite right. So it's giving me a warning whenever I try and modify these. It doesn't stop me, but it also doesn't do it. But if you'll see in the bottom right that it does throw a warning that says, hey, there might be some references to this. I'm going to have to delete those. And I'm
But
like,
there aren't.
cool, that's fine. One, there aren't. And two, go ahead.
You can't delete it and recreate it because it's going to do the same nonsense. So.
Yes. So here is our trigger for our flow. Hey, Jared, thanks for joining us. Are you ready to build some stuff?
Hey, Andrew. Hey, Chuck. Yeah.
Hey, Andrew.
Absolutely.
Oh, Jared. Wrong window.
All right. So state is requested, install plugins. We want to, we'll want to go get. In fact, this might be a time where I want to build an action for this.
I'm
about to do.
I'd suggest updating your record first. Change your instance operation record to work in progress.
And can I shout out how cool it is that you're just pivoting in the second hour of building this? In the first hour, Chuck made a comment of, this would have taken us 1 or 2 days of scripting to get to where we were at the end of the first hour. And you would feel really bad having to pivot, being 2 or 3 days into a development project like this. But here you don't feel bad at all. You just kind of delete some actions, start a new action, and keep moving on.
That's a really good point. It's it's fun.
So you think I should? So I was thinking about making this.
No. Your condition filter for when to trigger remains the same, but your first action is to update
should
that
be to
record.
set it. Absolutely. But what I was going to say is over here in this lookup plugin.
Yep.
I want to do that, but I want to do it. So I need to build a JSON payload for my batch install. And so I'm going to have to create that. And so I was thinking I might just make an action for that.
Yeah. Because we don't have any other way to build that JSON natively. There's not an action to build JSON.
There is a step in the action builder
Yes.
for that, but not in flows directly. So this is craft batch plan.
Handcrafted by the finest artisans.
Pass in a single record into this?
Yes. Pass in that instance operation record.
Don't think I have to pass anything into this.
How's it going to know what to reference to build?
I will query the plugin table.
Based on what? The trigger record?
So if you recall, the way we have it set up right now is we're not making this super flexible. It's the plugins that are active in the plugin table is what gets installed. And so I don't need to pass anything to this. It just queries the plugins where active is true. And that's it. So I think I can just get away with doing the same thing over here, which is
okay. I thought this was per instance. This is per hackathon. You're going to say, here's the plugins you all get to play with.
Correct.
Okay, I thought this was in case Jared says, I need this plugin and this plugin and this plugin. We would invoke this flow. And his instance would get certain plugins installed.
Now that's a nice request mechanism, and we should probably allow for that as well. But this current set is for fresh instances, getting them.
This is your base set of plugins that we're going to.
Yep.
Okay, I had the scope incorrect.
So active is true, and we want to get all of those. And
because that never happens when you're writing requirements, someone misinterprets the scope.
Now let's go look on our plugin package table. I think we did give it an event. Yes, we did. So let's take that as an optional parameter for this. So we will take an input if you do send it to us, event. And this is a reference to
Yeah, that way you could have a base configuration for all events, kind of like system user preferences and user preferences.
Mm-hmm. And so we'll make this optional. It is not mandatory, but if it is present, we will use it. Boop. All right. So that'll get us the records. And now what we need to do is we're going to need to craft some JSON from that. And I'm not sure that our JSON, are we really? Do we not have?
Oh no, we didn't activate anything. We need our flow for this instance.
Hey Chuck, are you ready to do some some development, or is Brad ready to take over? Because I'm going to go activate some plugins on this instance.
We hit a roadblock. I don't have anything immediate that I need to do. My tasks would be cleaning up forms and lists at this point.
I'm fine with that, though it needs to be done. Brad, you want to take over, or you want Chuck to work on some forms?
Let's let Chuck. I think I'm going to have to drop off in about 15 minutes.
Okay.
Okay. You take the screen share whenever you're ready, Chuck. I'm going to be installing plugins.
Can I just take it? It says
You
no.
can.
Someone already has the screen share. Oh, do you want to continue? I'm going to say continue and share something like this. Let's not look at my speed test or the knowledge playlist. Builder dev. Probably should have set up the screen before I shared it. In we go. Make that about 125 so it's readable. Get the Zoom windows out of the way. All right. This is what I had once upon a time, but I'm going to kill those shortcuts. I did make some menus for the tables that I built a few weeks ago. So list okay. We made some new tables though. So you know what? I'll go into App Engine Studio. Why not? I was going to make a run
Brad.
right for Studio.
Before you go, Brad, are you smoking anything today? I'm about to start doing some pork belly burnt ends.
That just sounded wrong, Andrew. Whatever you're smoking, I want some.
I do love pork belly burn ends. I am smoking a chuck roast, and I had forgotten to check my temperature, and I need to go add a log to it. So I'll be right back.
All right.
Don't roast Chuck. It's a Chuck roast.
Ba-doom, tsh. All right, and I'm making a note to put in the rim shot for my sound effects when I add that to my stream deck. All right, instance operation. Let's start at the top. How's the list look? We have number, priority. This looks like a task table to me. Ugly. So configure list layout. And get rid of things like task type first. We added category, right? No,
that sounds
we
right.
didn't. I thought we added category. Why is it not listed? Did we call it type?
Type.
Oh yeah, we had a debate about that, and I lost. We don't need a priority. What else we got on here that we want to take a look at? Anything from that instance operation?
We
Type,
needed state.
Zoom in a little
I
bit.
know that I'm going to have like actually, we might need to add a couple of fields if they're
All
not
right.
there.
Let's do that when we get into Form Designer. So let's do that now. This is looking rather tasky. So configure Form Designer, which I love for everything except .walk fields and embedded lists. But that aside, let's take out what we don't need. Priority, let's put state where state belongs. Parent,
State type.
configuration item can go. Active, maybe.
Who wants it? Results, parameters, and yeah. So I don't think we have a result or parameters table.
Are you looking at our good old notes?
I am looking at my notes.
Okay. So what type was results?
Result is a string, like a long-ish string field. and
Long-ish
so is
string.
parameters.
Okay. Do we want a new form section or should we just dump it like down here?
Down,
What was the other one?
down
You had
below
results and what
description,
else?
Parameters.
Okay. So do any of these logically group together?
Parameters is an input, results is an output. But those are meh.
You said longish, like 100 longish or 1,000 longish?
Like results should be probably 400-ish, and parameters, it should be 2,000.
I'm making it 1,000 just to make it standard. Because anything over like 255 gets a large text box anyway. And parameters. Works for me. Okay, any of this mandatory? First, let's fix this. Oops. Oh, darn. I accidentally removed the number field from the form. I hate it when that happens. Well, let's put it back. Effective number. I've never seen that field before, and I'm really curious as to what it means. Let's make that read-only. State, make sure our things are in order. We added queued, scheduled, canceled. Is that what it was?
I did add those, yes.
Okay. Are those in the order you like to see them in? Or should we move the closey stuff at the end?
Yeah, let's reorder them, please. Canceled at the bottom, though.
That's usually the way I go too. Okay.
And then scheduled and queued should be relatively near the top because they're,
Are we
earlier.
using pending?
And I think we can get pending out. Yeah, let's
I
move
rarely use
pending.
that. Anything else?
Open and work in progress, the same thing.
Yeah,
Feels kind of like it.
let's nuke open and just leave work in progress. So
Okay.
requested or work in progress. In fact, how is requested different than queued or scheduled?
That's my question. You created these.
I know.
Requested pre-flow and
I think
scheduled
requested is
after
like
flow.
pre everything. Like new record essentially is requested.
Okay. Something like that.
That looks good. Thank you.
Okay. Our types, are these in the orders that we wanted them in?
Don't know. Don't
Okay. We'll
really
figure
care
that out later.
at the moment either for the types.
I'm not really digging this layout with the two large fields, then a short description and another description. Let's do like I don't know, general details. I suck at naming sections sometimes.
Yeah,
Let's do something
details and activity pretty much make it into every form I build.
Yep, you're right. We need another one down here.
There's a journal field. Get that off of the.
I often do
text.
log. These go there. These go there, and then this one would be state field.
Big
I don't
details.
know. Yeah, sure. Details.
Yeah.
That's feeling a little better. Let's see how it looks. We go from that
And then one column looks good, I think, for all those.
to that. Much cleaner. We get our details there. We get our log there. Nice. Okay. That fixes instance operation. What else did we doodad with? Plugin package? I don't think we took a sneak peek at that. Number, name, event ID. That feels good. Let's see how the form looks. No.
Two
Once
columns,
again,
please.
into the maelstrom. I don't know why I keep going way down there when I know darn where it is. Okay, step 1, make that top part 2 column, get the number as read only. Oh, you know what else I didn't think about on that other one is mandatory fields. Do we have any? I should probably save this real quick. Don't want to lose my work. Instance op back here. That doesn't have a type, doesn't have a none, so that doesn't matter. Anything mandatory on here, Andrew? Andrew's not home. He stepped away. All right, then we'll come back to that. Andrew's driving the requirements for that. Back to plugin package. Why isn't it finding that? There it is, plugin package. Okay, back to work. How long was this? 80. That should be in a new section. 1 column, not called new section. I hate it when that happens. And I'm assuming event, that was an optional, so we could have that baseline package.
Yep.
ID, I'm thinking should be mandatory.
I agree.
An active, I'm going to put over here. This feels more like a statey state thing. Maybe just to balance it out, we put ID is the important part. I like important things on the left. That feels more at home. I'm going to make, should name be mandatory or could we get away with just an ID?
Is that the name of the plugin
Name of
that goes along with the ID?
Name of the plugin, yeah. If we have the ID, we can still run the flow and whatnot. It's not exactly user-friendly, but I'm going to leave it optional for now. And we go from that to that. Better. Wait a minute. Active should be true by default. Did we miss that when we define the table? It is. The default is true, so why is that not true? Is now. Okay. Maybe it was just that one record. We should have active on here as well. The other thing I like to do, let's change this. List layout, put active over there. A common thing is to make the active field more visible, because when your eye scans this, it's really hard to see true and false as differentiated. So let's go do a quick field style. And for those of you who haven't done field styles before, right click, configure style. We're going to create a new one. It defaults to, of course, the active field, which is what we were playing with. Now, values on true and false are the database values of 0 and 1. So if the value is 0, I can do one thing and one thing only, and that is a little bit of CSS for the background color. And the most common one we've always used, and I can't spell tomato without first starting to spell Tomasi, sorry, motor skills, is the tomato color. And it shows you what the sample will be. So when I go back to my list layout, which would have been back here, oops, not quite, try that again. I can now see these false are red. You could equally do like lime green, I think is the typical green we use for true. It doesn't burn your retinas. If you use red, you're going to have blind spots in your eyes after 15 years like I do. So, you know, tomato's a little more gentler on the eyes, and it's just something that's been around for almost ever. So that helps me see these in a list as like which ones are turned off. Just something you might want to consider. The other tables, let's go get another table. So I think this one's pretty solid.
Yeah, I don't
Okay.
think we need to add any eh, journals, activity logs, anything.
Not to the plugin
History.
itself. Yeah, it doesn't feel
No.
like this is going to be changing a whole lot. Let's go look at another table. What else did we add? Dev instances, Andrew said he added. So quick cleanup on that. We have a number, we have a name. This list layout looks pretty comprehensive. There might actually be too much on here, but I'm going to leave that alone. Let's see the form. No. Here we go again. I'm lazy. Rather than changing the menu on the other one, I'm just going to go back to configure form layout.
Agreed. And this is one of the satisfying parts of the app development process. I love making dirty code, turning into clean code, abstracting it. That's also satisfying, but yeah.
This is kind of therapeutic because you get to do a little artistic ability here. How long
But
is
it's not
this?
as intimidating as a blank piece of CSS.
Oh, good heavens, no. Let's make this a one column down here. What else do we want in the upper part? Event, state. I found a state field. I'm just grabbing these little handlebars next to the field, drag that up there. Make sure state has options we want. It has a drop down with none. Rarely, if ever, do you ever put a state field with a none option. I'm not even sure what a none state looks like. And then we have a whole bunch of dates, right? So I'm thinking we put a section called dates, maybe some details here. What is version? Is that a short string? That's a choice, but it has a none also. I don't think you should ever have an instance without a version. What do you think?
I would agree.
Oh, it says without none, and it defaults to Quebec. Okay, I misread that. My fault.
Maybe for housekeeping, put them in alphabetical order. Drop Tokyo to the end.
You are absolutely correct. Try do it without singing the song. But that's a nice short little field. So what is the instance name? What would the instance name be?
Just the short name of,
like a short description, but it's 80 characters,
yeah.
so I want that long. Here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to put a section, an unnamed section within a section. So name will be across the top, but let's put these little short other fields. No, I kind of don't like that. Let's do it the other way around. Wherever there's a label, it means it's going to make a new tab. Unless, of course, you only have one tab. So short fields on top, long fields on the bottom. Let's put some of these dates. Oh, credentials. What is credentials? Was that a reference to connect? Okay, that's a credential alias. So that would be a short little field. Yeah, that would look good up there. Date assigned. That's a date. Instance DC ID. I have no idea what I just did. So that's a sysid. I'll put that next to credentials.
I like it.
Date reclaimed. I'm just throwing dates up here. They should be in a 2-column format. Thank you. Last activity smells like a date. Date expires, smells like a date. Last login smells like a date. Get rid of that. Do these need organizing in any way, shape, or form? Date assigned, date reclaimed, date expires. Maybe a little chronological in here.
Yep.
Last activity and last login. That feels pretty good. What do you think, Jared, from an aesthetic point of view? We got 3 main sections. Let's go take a look. Here we go.
I like it. Got created. That was like plugin that was run on that instance. Or what is activity?
I'm good with that. That looks good.
Going to be populated with.
Oh, sorry, your audio broke up. What was that? Uh-oh. That might be my bandwidth. Oh, we lost Jared. Rats. Anyone come across glide
We
daytime
did.
issue in Flow Designer? There he is. Oh. You're muted at the moment. We're either dealing with Zoom or Chuck's bandwidth again. Okay. I'm going to go inspect another form and field. Me and Jared at the moment. And one of us is having issues. Team. I don't remember doing anything with team. Oh, I didn't want to do that. I want to preview the list. We have a winning team and a winning team. I think I did the form layout, but again, we have no states on the teams. I don't recall if we needed any, what the state values were from our old notes of what the team states could be. Thinking out loud, walking through the process in my head, you could be forming a team. Do we even need a state on a team? You either have a team or you don't. Could be a team of one. I have no idea. So I'm going to leave that one alone as far as the choices go. We'll put a TBD on that, a to-do on that task. That looks good. Did we add anything else? ServiceNow version, app, event. I think all of these were added by me and done the form layout. So we are at the top of the hour again. Time is just cruising. We've been at this for 3 hours. How did that happen? Anyone, I already read that question. Hello, Brad. We seem to have lost, Brad, you're on mute. We lost Jared. I think the internet bandwidth demons got him.
Yep, I have to abandon us after 3 hours and go watch a soccer game.
Okay,
So
that may do it for our stream then, because I've gone through the forms and list, done some cleanup. I had one question about the states on a team. I don't know if you wanted to dig into that for 2 seconds, but I can't think of why you would need a state field on a team.
yeah, I
We
think
don't have-
active probably is good enough.
That's kind of what I'm thinking too. We can always keep it, but let's hide it from the form.
Yeah.
Let's do that for now.
Yeah, so I think we can break, and then I think we're gonna hop back on later this afternoon.
All right. Yeah, I've got
But we
a
will,
lunch date with some friends. First time I've seen these people in person in over a year. So looking forward to that. But yeah, keep in touch. We'll jump back on when we can. Let's let me do a stop screen share. If I can find the Zoom control for that. There we are. Drag that back over so I'm looking at people in the face. Andrew is off in his fog.
He's foggy.
So we've done a little bit of everything. Well, not everything, but we've done a little bit of a lot of things.
All sorts of things.
So that was a lot of fun. Thank you for the UIB stuff. I feel like my knowledge has advanced a little bit further, particularly with the getting data and doing some of those queries and presenting it on the screen. I've got to get a little more hands-on with that stuff.
Yeah, I mean, UIB is just a matter of spending time with it. So, you know, the more time you spend with it, the more it makes sense. And, you know, the further you get, there's some pretty good resources out there now. I think with the knowledge sessions, there will be more. We are planning on releasing some training on the developer site in, you know, the next near future around UIB also. So, you know, we're gradually getting more content out there for that. So
You've got a great series of videos and blog entries on that. So that's a place I've got to start going through them. Looking forward to the lesson plans that are coming up. The CreatorCon labs, like you said, are also good resources for that. if you're looking for more of the no-code, low-code capabilities, like the form lists, layouts, and whatnot that we showed, or some of the AES things, also recommend the Builder track, CCL 1075 through 1082. We'll walk you through a number of these features. Had some wonderful people build, or in some cases rebuild, those labs. And new format this year. We're not going to watch somebody do this for an hour. They're going to, all the CreatorCon labs are going to be in short little video vignettes to help introduce the topic, maybe some caveats, and then you go off and do the lab on your own, and then come back and watch the video for 5 more minutes and go, hey, welcome back. Great job on exercise 1. Here's a little bit of it about information about exercise 2. So you can, it feels more on demand and self-paced in that case.
It sounds like you're wrapping up, Chuck.
We are. I got the forms and list layouts. There were a couple of questions, but nothing that was earth-shattering. We cleaned them up. Jared was helpful with that. He had to drop as well, but sounds like we will resume in a few hours.
Yep, and I'm going to keep working on my flow. And
are you going to stay online, or are you going to work on that offline?
I'm going to work on that offline.
Okay.
We'll come back in a bit. Did we check in on any of the streamers?
I have not had a chance. I think you were the social man going around to the different streams earlier.
Well, I'm going to go pop into some streams then. So thank you, everybody. If you have questions about the hackathon, visit the community link for the hackathon and ask your questions there, and we will get you answers as soon as we can. And
the other streams are Slack channel, community. Is that where they're posted?
There is a list of them in SNDev Slack. And there is a community post where some of them are posted in the hackathon community.
What is the channel name on SNDev Slack? Just for my benefit.
Hackathon.
Well, gee, that's too easy.
So with that,
all right.
Thank you, everybody. Have a great day, and we'll see you back again.
Take care. Stay safe.